Hey y'all, listen, I just like to make an entrance. That's what it was. I knew the entire time that I was on the wrong link, and I was like, I just want to see how they work it out. Just
Well,
let
we
us.
got it. We got it figured out right on time as well. So, Endyia, why don't you just share with our audience a little bit about you and your journey and how you got where you are now?
Oh my gosh, that's a big question, Holly. How long
I
do
know.
we have? No. Well, as CEO of All Things Media, that was a long journey to get to. Ultimately, my background for 20 plus years has been a television network executive. And what that means is when you see a show on any given network, let's say HBO, VH1, there are executives who are sort of managing all of that content, and there are content creators who pitch to me. And it's my job to see if, okay, does that show work for the brand? Does that work for our audience? Can it, create, viewership, i.e. dollars, you know what I mean? So we're talking about women of wealth. And that's been my job for 20 plus years. Since then, I decided to then turn those 20 plus years of experience and relationships and resources into my own company, where I consult with various networks, television production companies, and studios, where I oversee individual projects or I will consult on development and strategy for the network. And it's been great. This past couple years, my industry has gone through a lot of changes. But even with that, I think there's always hope, you know what I mean? But ultimately, that's kind of where All Things Media was birthed. So basically, my company, we develop, we produce, we package projects. I partner with producers to help get their projects sold. And so it's sort of like a one-stop shop for all things content creation.
Well,
And so
that is so, I'm so excited where you are now. I mean, you and I have known each other now for almost 10 years. And I just love that you are doing what you love to do. When we chatted yesterday, we just had, I mean, you were just telling us exactly how it was. And one of the things that we added to the question, and I want to before we jump into these main questions, I really want to talk about working closely with your husband, even though you guys aren't necessarily in the same business. Men can be an ally in our lives. And I think we need to remember that, especially those of us that have one in our home or
yes.
three in their home, like you do, right? So let's talk about how we can cultivate that support and that collaboration within the home and those male allies that support us in the office or at work as well.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is such a great question. And I can't thank you enough for even bringing that up, because I think we have come to a little bit of a fork in the road as it relates to culture and our relationship with men. And I think that we have sort of, it's sort of like they say, throw out the baby with the bathwater, which I hate that saying, but I kind of get it. It's like you have this amazing gift in men. You know what I mean? Like they are, one thing that my husband always says is like, I don't know how you do what you do. You have so many balls up in the air and you're catching them. He's like, but sometimes you just got to slow down. And the thing is, with men, they're very focused. They're like one stop shop. Like, okay, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna just drive it home. Like all this multiple stuff happening, I can't do it. And I think that's how God created us, where we're able to be moms, and we're able to be in the boardroom and do all of the things. And men are just really, really focused on one thing, and they do it really well. And so there are times where, when I'm working and he'll call, he's like, babe, I know you got it, but you're about to burn out. So maybe you should just focus on that one thing, peel back. And it's great because they see things we don't. They see things in a different way, the same way we don't. And the beauty is, and I think in any relationship, it doesn't matter when you're able to see someone's strengths and you're able to apply that to some of your weaknesses, and vice versa. That makes for an amazing partnership, be it marriage, be it a leader in a company. That is the secret sauce to any success. And so when you're looking at it from a husband's point of view, he's calls me on the carpet a lot, right? Like I said, he sees things that I don't. And I think we have to pull back sometimes and say, what is the intention here? Like, if these are people that love you, that want to see the best for you, when he's seeing things in me that I don't see, as opposed to me being defensive, it's like, wow, babe, you love me. You see that I'm about to run off a cliff, even though I think I got it. Let me lean in and listen. And so he's just very that steady voice. I'll tell you one quick story. What I love about him too is that he does love me in all my flaws, right? And I remember when I was really, really working around the clock. Like, I mean, when you're an executive, it's like you're on the clock. There's shows producing all over the world and you're getting calls, right? And I remember I was coming into the house. I had my phone like this. I had my bags like this, and I'm coming in, and he's been at home. You know, he picked up the kids from school. He started dinner. That's our thing. Like he'll start dinner and I'll finish it, you know, and I'm barking orders. I'm on the phone. How the audacity of me, right? But I'm in my work mode, right? So I come in and I'm like, yeah, oh, what did you do your homework? Did you do this? Babe, did you get that? 1 second. Okay, yeah. And so one day he said, okay, he takes the phone. He's like, she'll call you back. He says, so now this is what I want you to do. I want you to walk outside. I want you to come in. But before you come in, I need you to take off CEO. I need you to come in and say, I'm a wife and a mom, and I'm going to live in the moment. He was so calm with it, right? And had I been certain women, they would have been like, who do they think they are? And you don't tell me. It's like, no, he's loving me. And I put my phone down. I walked in that with humble pie and I said, hey guys, how was your day? Tell me about your day. Babe, how's the food? Do you need help? What do I need to like completely? And so it's just those things that we have to recognize in us and being able to manage that thing and being intentional about it. Because otherwise it's going to be a recipe for chaos no matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby and I have had those moments too. I used to commute and I'd get home and I'd be like, I want to know everything that was going on over the week. You know, we talk on the phone maybe for 10 minutes at night or whatever. So I jump in there and he's like, babe, the kids are alive. They made it to and from school every single day. They ate. They may not have had salad with every meal, but they ate, you know, and I'm like, okay, I can dial it back a little bit.
So funny.
And we had just talked about how my husband played a huge role in me getting my license and even doing this business. So God bless you to the strong men in our lives.
Absolutely.
And I think you hit the nail on the nail on the head when you were talking about, you know, instead of being defensive, to just accept that. And I think that is a powerful shift that would change a lot of relationships, that if you just took a pause and a deep breath and thought about how is this coming from a loving perspective, that would change a lot of relationships. So talking about perspective, how has the media narrative around women and wealth been shaped, and how can we shift that perspective?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've had so many projects even come my way about financial literacy and health and women and this idea of like, you know, we don't have an understanding about how to spend money or how to balance a checkbook or how to manage it. And you know, and what's funny is I have been one of those people who didn't do very well, my husband would say for sure, in terms of spending. But the thing is that I think I'm hoping it's starting to change. You know, I feel like women are like, such as yourselves with Women of Wealth, just stepping up and saying, listen, we're smart. We've taken finance classes. We're doctors. You know, we have PhDs in this thing. Like we know just as much as anyone else. And I think part of our superpower too is being able to manage so many things. And so being able to find those loopholes, being able to find like where the white noise is in terms of how to fill those gaps and how to give that knowledge and expertise to other women who just didn't have the literacy, I think is great. And I really do see more women stepping up to the plate and saying, no, we know a lot and let us help you, let us teach you. And it's been phenomenal. I mean, my financial planner, you know, is a woman, and she is smart and she is on it. And I love too, because she's leading into things that mean to me, something to me, even in terms of how I invest, you know, things that speak to me as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, and just seeing it from that lens, I think is a beautiful example of the power of women in wealth, you know, like knowing where those dollars need to go, how to invest, how we balance from our perspective and what means the most to us, I think is important.
I do. I mean, I think that I think the shift is happening. I do really think it is, because there are a lot more women who are in this industry now. And there's a lot more women that are, so it used to be women were in the home office. They'd be the customer service agent or whatever.
Right.
But now they're out there being the producer, the salesperson, and they're able to connect with women differently. You know, I remember I had a client one time and she's like, oh yeah, I really trust the guy that I'm with. I'm like, is it your husband? You know, like, what kind of funds are you in? You know, she had no idea what she was even putting her money into. And just taking that moment to say, hey, let's understand this. Let's not just throw money at it.
Exactly.
You know, let's not throw $300 a month at it, you know, whatever the case might be. Let's actually understand what you're doing here, because you can make more wealth that way.
So true. So true. And I think that idea sort of spills over into other areas of your life too. You know, when you lean into what means the most to you, like not going off of what you've heard other people say or whatever, but what connects to you. And I think being a woman is super, super important, super powerful, and leaning into like, okay, how does this affect me? How does it affect my kids? How does it affect me as a businesswoman? All the facets of my life, I think, are things that we need to put in the forefront and be honest and intentional about, and partnering with other women who can speak to that. I think it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely need our advisors. Speaking of advisors, when it comes to personal brand, if I feel like this is something that you are really an expert on how to get that personal brand to come through. How can women look at that, their brand, and how can it have influence over the decisions that they make?
I think at anything, I always say you start with your why for anything. Like I think it's super important, because if you don't know why you're doing anything, whether it's, you know, you start your business or whatever it is, why you want to become all the things, like if your why isn't clear, then you're going to go off brand. You're going to go off and you're going to try to be something that's not you. You're going to try to emulate somebody else that you saw on social media. Oh, I like how they did that. And then it becomes inauthentic. And I think what social media is actually showing you is the people that are true to who they are unapologetically, and they're clear about their messaging and their why, are the ones that really get the engagement. And it's no different than developing or creating a TV show. Like when I am creating a show, I'm thinking about what is the purpose of this? Who's the audience? How does this speak to me? Is this something that I want to do? You know, is this something that I would watch? What would I want to for people to get out of it? It is the same thing with yourself. Who are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? What is it that you're putting out in the world? And is it authentic and true to who you are? And the other thing is, and I think that the one thing that we're not honest about is the why has to be something beyond just yourself. It has to be an act of service. And I know people are like, oh my God, you know, white noise, but I'm telling you, when you are being driven by something bigger than you, when you are being driven by an act of service to help people, to see people thrive, when it's something beyond yourself, you're going to go the distance because you have a goal, you have a purpose. You know, if everything that you do is about you, that is a never ending well that never gets filled. You are never going to be fully satisfied. You're never going to be fully sustained. It just does not work long term. But when you have something where you're like, man, I am making a difference, like I am really being of service, then you're going to thrive. And so when you're thinking about your brand, and that's what you have to be, and you got to be true to that thing, and you got to be honest about it. And if it is about, I just want to make this money, well, that's fine. But just know that that's not a long-term goal. It has to be something bigger than you.
Right. And like, why do you want to make the money? Like, what's it for? Because it's not just for shoes and clothes. I mean, you could do that, but that's not going to fill you up. Right. Exactly. So it's like, find the reason why you want to make money. You know, maybe it's because you grew up in an environment where you didn't have that, and you want to make sure your kids never have to experience that. That's a pretty big why.
That is a big why. And then turning that into service. Exactly. Like, I don't want anybody else to have to go through that because of what I went through. You know, like, I think at the end of the day, it's got to be a good leader is always a person who's about serving. You want to make sure that the people that you're leading are feeling supported, lifted, empowered to even want to follow you. And that includes the people you're leading to buy into whatever product, or including yourself, that you want them to really understand and want to believe. And if you're not true to that, I mean, you ask yourself that, would you go with somebody who's like, you don't trust or you don't believe that they believe in what they're doing, or it's not authentic to who they are? No way. You wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it's so much easier to lead with your heart and with something that is close and valuable to you, that you're giving service to others. It's so much easier to run your life like that and your business like that than having a mask and having to play a role every day because that's the role you think people want to hear or buy or listen to. And then you've got to have that mask on every day. So much easier to just live authentically, right?
So much easier. But I get it though. Like, I get that thing, especially as women. Sometimes some of us, we just do the comparison game. We just do, right? And it's just this natural thing that we do. And all of a sudden, I do it sometimes. And I'm not even one of those people I'm not, I don't, I'm pretty confident in who I am, but there's sometimes where I have those moments where I'm like, man, she did a really good job. And there's nothing wrong with learning from other people. But when you're comparing yourself and you're leveling yourself, that's when you get in your head and you're like, oh, sometimes we have false starts. Sometimes we don't want to do it because we don't think we can do it at that level, or, oh my God, she's so good at this. I'm in that same space. If I can't do it like that, then do I even do it? Like, that's where you get in trouble, but when you take out all the noise and you really focus on, man, if I could just touch one, if I could just help somebody with this, if I could create this for myself and my family to where it can impact generations, like, then it doesn't really matter after that. It's like, I'm just going to go for broke. And if I got to learn along the way or dust my knees off or dust my, my elbows off and skin my knees, that's fine. But at least I stepped out and I did it. And so that's what I want to encourage women today, to just say, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it because there's something bigger than myself here at stake. And I want to jump in with everything and go for it.
I love that. So now that we've got the branding down and we're living authentically, what's your advice on how women can secure investments or funding for their business ideas?
I mean, and I was thinking about that, like, in terms of when you say business ideas, is it just funding to start a business, funding to what, like, specifically?
Let me ask it a different way. So I have a niece that just graduated from Northridge. She's now she got graduated with a screenwriting degree. She wants to write comedies. She is writing comedies. Our family gives her all these ideas, like, we need something about an airport because it's hilarious if you really step back and watch people go through TSA, right? And so she has her own ideas. She really doesn't need us telling her what to do, but we're helping her out. So let's say she wrote a show and she now wants to take it to the next step and bring it to somebody like you. What would be some steps that she would need to take? Because obviously, yeah,
the times have changed, Hawley. The times have changed. It's Wild Wild West right now. And people like me who used to be the gatekeepers are dwindling by the droves every minute of every second of every day. And which is kind of sad for the people in my generation who are used to that, but it's amazing for the people like your niece, because what the world is, what culture, what the environment is saying is that you hold your destiny in your hands. You have an idea, you don't have to wait to go to an Endyia to say you're good enough to go to put on a network. You can start your own YouTube channel. You can create your own network. You can pool your resources from your friends and your family to invest in your idea and go shoot it your darn self. And then you can license it to all these different streaming. I mean, there's hundreds of networks now. Hundreds. You remember when we were growing up, not to date us, we didn't have very many.
3 channels.
Yeah. So the gatekeepers were gods, right? Now, forget about it. Your niece, this is the best time for her to come out and be herself and thrive, and just really it does start with investing with people who believe in you first, and absolutely, and reaching out to people who you trust, who believe in you, to just start to fuel her ideas and get them out there, putting in the festivals. I mean, when you look at Ryan Coogler, I mean, he's an amazing director, but he started off doing a little indie film with Michael B. Jordan, of someone who no one knew in Fruitvale Station, that goes on, to win these festivals, that goes on to get nominated for awards. And now he's directing big time films. I mean, literally, that is what we're talking about, is the world is her oyster. Literally, she can go make it happen and it will happen. And so that is what I would say with anybody these days who are looking to invest in their dream. Start with the people around you who, and if you don't, people are like, nobody I know has money or whatever, then what you do is, in Google is a beautiful thing. You can reach out to people even now who you can say, who are the people in my industry, or who are the people in the industry that, for example, if she's doing a screenwriting, if she's doing a show about, I forgot
Airport.
what, airports. Are there people who invest in airports? Are there
Mhm.
billionaires who are, you can Google that. You can reach out to those people. Hey, I have an idea. Would you like to invest? Or have you ever wanted to do television film? I have investors who are NFL players. I have investors who are just people with money who just want to know about TV and want to get, whatever that subject matter is. Social impact is huge. There are grants, monies out there for people who are in the field of social impact. I mean, it's out there. You just have to be driven, and you have to really believe in your product and your idea, and do the work to reach out to the people who want to play in the sandbox in terms of whatever your creation is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Endyia, you're really a really good storyteller. I have heard you time and time again. How do you think women can leverage storytelling to elevate their careers or their business?
I think it's imperative. And how to elevate it is, again, and I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, authenticity. Nobody can tell your story like you. They just can't. And the thing is that I think it starts with knowing that everybody has a story worth telling. Everybody's been through something. No one is void of any sort of heartache, adversity, any trauma. Like, no one in this world has ever gone without adversity or something that they've learned to overcome. No one. And I think the key is knowing that even if it's been similar to somebody, nobody is you, and nobody has the exact same story as you. It doesn't matter how many times you can tell a story about, being broke and getting it back, or, a broken marriage or broken relationship, or lost your company and had to come back, or whatever, or filing bankruptcy and how you overcome that, or no, it doesn't matter. It's your story and how you tell it. And when you are authentic and are transparent and vulnerable, when people see that and they're able to see themselves in you, it automatically connects you as somebody they can trust, or that they can say, wow, she's not scared to be honest. She's somebody who I think that I can roll up my sleeves with, and I can learn from, or I can walk alongside and be partners with. And when you're able to do that, I mean, sky's the limit. And again, you got to be honest, man. You've got to be honest, and you've got to be forthright. You can't, skate around things. Be transparent. That's what people are looking for and are striving for.
So, Endyia, as you're talking about being authentic, telling your story, and you were talking about how there's no more gatekeepers, or there's very few gatekeepers, and that you can just create your own channel, or wherever you're going with that, or wherever you're going with your brand or your business. Do you think now that the opposite problem is, not that we can't get to the gatekeeper, but that there's so many people doing very similar things? Like, do you feel like media, or being an online presence, or some those kinds of things, is it saturated where it's harder to get eyes on you because
It is.
everyone
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Allie. Finish.
just because everyone's telling their story, and so it's so easy to do now that there's a lot of people doing it.
I think that when you have something niche, right? Like, so it's your story, but then it could be how you tell it. It could be where you're from. It could be the fact that you could be from, rural Mississippi, and maybe your audience is just that audience. Well, There's a lot of people in that audience, and not everybody is reaching that audience. It's no different than a network. It's no different than a studio. The number one network every year when it comes to branding is HGTV. You don't ever have to think about it. You already know what you're getting. There's not a whole lot of need for marketing, and that's how they win. You already know. They're not flipping the game. It's the same thing over and over, but people know when I come there, that's what I'm getting. Not everybody wants to build homes, not everybody wants to see homes being built, but the people that do come. So you have to figure out within your story what makes you different. It could be the same story. There's other people doing flipping houses. There's other networks that, but you know HGTV because they do the same thing and they're consistent and they know who they are. Another network, Hallmark. Mm-hmm. How many TV movies can one watch? How many holiday films can you watch in Snowflake Falls where it's the same thing? But for decades, they have their audience and they're feeding them. And they're not trying to be VH1. They're not trying to be anybody else but Hallmark. That you have to see yourself as a network. Like, who is my audience? Let me freaking drill hard on that audience. If I can get 1,000 people, that's a lot of people. 500 and build off of that. That's a lot of 20. Start with 20 and build. When you have your niche audience, it's okay. Find what's authentic to you, which is why being authentic is so important, because just by your story, you know, maybe it's the way that you overcame, maybe it's where you came from, maybe it's little nuances of your story that connect to one particular group that they just want to lean into you. That is okay, but you gotta do the work to find, like, and sometimes it takes time. It takes time to cultivate that, to roll that out, to kind of see the analytics and metrics of the people who are coming to you. What are they saying? That's something that someone else told me. They were like, your audience will tell you who they are. When you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, oh my God, when you said blah, 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 oh my God, I just love your blah, blah, blah. Or the way that you say blah, 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 that really hit home with me. When you keep getting that same note 4 and 5 times, then you're like, that's what's resonating. I need to lean into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, 30 minutes goes by way too fast. We're definitely going to have you on our podcast so we can get more information from you. But Endyia, tell our audience how they can reach out to you, how they can get to, follow you and hear all of your stories. And I mean it, everyone on this show, listen back and see how Endyia got started, because she has such an amazing journey. And I know that she's done tons of interviews and has it on there. She talks about this one time whenever, when the market crashed and everything, that, Hollywood wasn't hiring. And so you really got to listen to that story, because you're going to hear some really get great nuggets. So Endyia, tell us how we can reach you.
Well, listen, I'm on Instagram at Miss Endyia, MSENDYIA. You can find me. Oh, look at that. They are on it. I love it. It's all there. And also something else that I didn't get a chance to talk about, Hawley, my husband and I have started a podcast. It's called It Ain't Personal, It's Spiritual. It's going to start April 2nd. It's going to start rolling out April 2nd on all of the platforms, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere where you can hear podcasts, we will be there. And really, it's just talking about going through life, understanding really not to take things personal, how everything is spiritual. It's something beyond just what you see, and how that's going to help you in your everyday life, your career, your relationships, your family. It's kind of what we talked about. Don't take things personal when you know it's something beyond that. Is it resentment? Is it this? Is it that? What is it? So that's what we're talking about, and hoping to inspire and encourage people all over the world to just live a better life, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Endyia. We will definitely make sure that we get that information in the show notes so that people can find you and reach out to you. Mwah, I love you. Thank you again.
Girl. Thank you guys so much for having me. You've been amazing hosts. And invite me anytime. I'm here for you.
Oh, thanks, Endyia. Have a great day.
You
and
too.
Go get them. Well, that was a lot, right? We covered a lot. Start with your why. Partnership, she ended it perfectly. I don't really have to cover that, but I just love the fact that you don't have to get defensive when somebody you love gives you feedback. And social impact. Now, if you want to know who your audience is, go out there and start telling your authentic story, and you will find out.
Yes.